came up with a plan, set directions up to the crew how to build these things. They went and built them, and guys took them out, got on the robotic arm, and used them to kind of hold to make straps that basically hold the panels of the solar array together. So we like to think we've thought of everything, but humans are really creative when it comes to breaking things, and so you got to be creative with solutions as well. Great question. Hi. How are you? My background, I taught school, math and science for 15 years. I grew up, actually, I think I was the launch of a Apollo Soyuz when I was a kid. I was down here for STS-1 when I was a kid. And so this was always something that interested me. I was also very interested in oceanography because of Jacques Cousteau. I used to like watching him on TV when I was a kid. I ended up going to graduate school in oceanography and then ended up teaching school because I really enjoyed that whole process and then come down here and work for NASA. But I was 40 when I was selected. So you could say it took me 40 years to become an astronaut because it's really, there's a whole breadth of experience that NASA's looking for when they go to recruit people. And then when you go through the application process and then to get selected and then to actually getting your astronaut wage is about a 3.5-year process. And then another couple of years before I got to fly. So it's good for the long run. Chris Hadfield is a Canadian astronaut. I remember him saying to me one time that I've been in NASA for 14 years and I've spent 20 days in space. 14 days in space, whatever the number was. So if you do the math, you really have to enjoy what you do here besides flying in space. You don't spend a lot of your time flying in space. I did a couple spacewalks. The question she was quoting Buzz Aldrin. I guess she had a chance to talk to Buzz Aldrin. And what was his first thought when he put his foot down on the moon? And his response was, I had not heard this one, but yeah, I really got rid of that one. He was going to be distracted the whole time. Yeah, well, yeah, that's what happens when you send people up to the moon. They got to do the same thing they have to do here on Earth. I guess on my spacewalk, she was asking what my first thought was, and it was coming outside. I came out at night, so it wasn't until the sun came up that you really, oh yeah, you got a sense for how fast you were going, and then it was pretty amazing. I mean, yeah, I didn't have anything as profound as Buzz to take care of at that time. So. Yes. Hi. Appreciate those in another couple hours when the sun comes up.
What is it that you love most? I mean, it's an amazing career. You're an astronaut. What is it you love most about it?
That's easy. The people I get to work with. NASA's a great team. The astronaut office has a lot of great folks, but Johnson Space Center, Kennedy Space Center, and the whole NASA, kind of the whole NASA family, we're just great folks to work with. That's what makes it fun come today, come and work every day, so people get to interact with.
Okay, yeah. I have a quick question for you. So, hopefully this afternoon we'll see the Senate launch, and we'll see the vehicle going. We don't really know the crew that well. First, can you tell us about the astronauts we'll see launch today?
Yeah, got to run through the kind of patch here. The commander is Mark Kelly, who is a Navy pilot. He actually has an identical twin brother, although Clay Anderson and I were discussing it last night. We've never really seen them together, so they could be just one guy. And Mark, this is his 4th mission. Mark and Scott actually are both very, very talented individuals, very dry sense of humor. I can't think of a better guy to go up here and execute this mission towards the end of the space shuttle program. Greg Johnson, who no one calls Greg, everyone you'll hear when you're talking to mission control, everyone will call of humor. He's a very accomplished musician, piano player, trumpet player. His second mission. Mike Fink, I don't think you'll hear him called Mike either. His name is what everyone calls him Spanky. And if you take a look at Spanky from the Little Rascals and then bring up Mike Fink's picture, you'll get an idea why. In fact, Spanky was one of the guys that I ran into who was out for a run, and I couldn't get words out of my mouth before he was heckling me. I actually had the opportunity to fly with Spanky. He was the commander of Expedition 18 when Discovery docked with the space station on orbit. Great guy. Greg Trevenkoff is also an experienced expedition crew member. He's a former flight controller, I believe. And Drew Foystel was a guy who was not too far away from me in my neighborhood, a geologist who worked in the petrochemical industry. And one of the most talented fix-it guys you'll ever meet. His garage is a workshop. He welds, he builds go-karts, and a perfect guy. He was set up to do some repairs on Hubble. And I can't think of a more perfect guy to send up there given his ability with tools. And Roberto Vittori, this is his first shuttle flight, I believe. He's actually been to the space station twice. Italian astronaut. And what's going to be really neat about this is there's going to be 2 Italian astronauts on orbit. Roberto's going to join Paolo Nespoli, who is an increment crew member who flew up on a Soyuz. So, big day for Italy when the hatch is open and we have our first time we have 2 Italian astronauts on orbit together. What else you got? Yes?
Quick question. Food that was just spiking. What type of food do you have up in space? And what's like the biggest solid food you might have up there?
Biggest solid?
Yeah.
Your kids will appreciate it. I think my most common meal was peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Because it's just so easy. In fact, they ask you when you go to launch, hey, in your you have a little bag attached to your seat, what do you want packed for yourself? I said, just peanut butter and jelly. Just keep it easy. And one of the things you've got to be careful of on orbit is crumbs. So we typically don't take bread with us, we take tortillas. So it's peanut butter and jelly tortillas. The food's pretty good. It's largely meals ready to eat type of food. They're backpacking camping food. So there's a wide selection. You actually get to choose your menu. And so it's a lot of variety, and it's like going on a great camping trip. I don't know about the largest bulk item. Most of this stuff is kind of individually packed. It's like you're not going to fly a turkey. We would fly a package with turkey and gravy. Good question.
Yes, that's what changed. That question was, what's it like flying with all the astronauts coming from all the different countries? Italy and Canadians and Russians. And what's some of the cultural differences
That's a great question. I think that's one of the strengths of the astronaut office is the fact that the folks I work with are very focused on what the mission is. And I've had bosses, my latest bosses was Koichi Wakata, so a Japanese astronaut. So when you sit around the table with our leadership team, it's not what country you're from, it's how are we working together to pull this mission off. So it's kind of a mini United Nations, and everyone's working together with one objective, to execute the mission as safely and effectively and efficiently as possible. So I've been run across cultural differences, and those that are there are it's an opportunity to learn from others, and it's just been a real treat to be able to work with astronauts from other countries.
So we have time for 2 more questions.
Sure.
Can you tell us what it's like the actual trip up and then the trip down?
The trip up versus the trip down, and what's that like? The trip up is the best amusement park ride you could take. You think you're prepared for it, and but when you feel the main engine start. Actually, we were watching the launch yesterday. My wife was asking a question about, do you feel when they do that? Oh yeah. When they go to gimbal the engines, you'll see they gimbal the engines just to make sure the gimbals are working so they can actually steer this thing before they commit to launching it. Do you feel that? Oh yeah, you feel the whole vehicle, it kind of has a feeling like it's alive. And when the main engine's light, okay, yeah, you can feel that too. You can definitely hear it. but it's when the solid rocket motor's light, and then you're committed to going. And that is just a big box likened it to being just standing still and having a truck hit you from behind and on a highway. And that's really the sense you get. You just kind of leap off the earth, and then it's just the constant acceleration. You just keep thinking, wow, boy, I really can't go any faster than I'm going now. And you continue to go faster than you were going the last time you thought it. So it's a real thrill. And then when the solids come off, it gets very quiet. It's a much smoother ride. And you just continue to accelerate. You get this sense of weight on your chest because you're pulling about almost 3 times the force of the Earth's gravity. It's through your chest, so it gets hard to breathe. And then all of a sudden, the engine's cut off about 8.5 minutes in, and it's just quiet. You're in space. So it's a pretty dynamic 8.5 minutes, and a very exciting 8.5 minutes. Coming down, it takes about an hour from the time we burn the engines over India. Basically, just turn the orbiter around and give it a gentle nudge out of just fire these OMS engines. It's a very gentle nudge that will have us start to fall out of orbit. So it's a much more gradual process. It's less dynamic. The sensation I had there, and I think it's different from most folks, is just you start to feel gravity again. So you find yourself slouching down in your seat. Things that were long since lost 8 days ago on the mission mysteriously start falling from the sky. So you hear things dropping that have been wedged in a bag somewhere, and the oatmeal that you floated away from you from 4 days ago is now right there, your best friend. So, and then it's a very smooth ride though. It's a very smooth ride, like it's kind of like a commercial airliner when we landed. Good question. Here in the back.
Hi, my name is Andrew Pepper. I'm interested because a lot of people come from a very scientific background. What happens to people? Are they atheists? Are they believers in God? Do people feel more religious when they're up there? Do they feel less religious when they're up there? What's kind of the majority experience for the astronauts?
That's a heavy question, and I don't know that I can speak for a majority kind of. I don't know if I can summarize one opinion based on what folks have experienced. I mean, what I can share with you, my own experience was just being really. I mean, there was one specific point during my spacewalk when I had a minute to stop and think, and just being incredibly thankful for where I was. I think we'd all be better if we did that a lot more in our lives, just to kind of take a moment and be thankful for what's surrounding you. But I remember that sensation very distinctly while I was on orbit. But summarizing, everyone's, it's such a personal thing, and some people don't talk about it, don't share it with you. I think you have such a diverse background, that'd be a hard one to put into words. That's what I can offer.
Yeah, we actually have one more question.
Wait, can I just make that real quick?
Sure.
Ricky is not AstroFlow. Leland is AstroFlow. So you guys are tweeting out about the prayer that Ricky that AstroFlow said that, so now AstroFlow will need to say that. Just let you know.
Take credit.
Sadly, Ricky on Twitter.
Yes. My daughters would get a real kick that I was here talking to you guys today. My teenage daughters who think I know next to nothing about everything. So they're probably right. I think we have time for one more question.
I was wondering, how long does it take, after the 8.5 minutes to get into orbit, how long does it take to get to the International Space Station? Can you, as she said, can't they just drive there immediately, or how long does it take to sync up the orbits?
We will dock. So how long does it take us to get to the International Space Station? We'll dock on flight day 3. But the question is, how long does it really take? Does it take us to flight day 3 to catch up to the International Space Station? It's a kind of a gradual a dance that we have to do to catch up and get in the position we want to get to so we can dock. It doesn't take that long, but we have a lot of work we need to do to get ready to dock. And one of the main reasons we wait for flight day 3 is so we can get the robotic arm out, start surveying the shuttle and make sure we haven't sustained any damage on ascent. So flight day 2 is basically spent the entire time surveying the wing, the belly of the orbiter, the nose cap, all the places that would be sensitive to damage from debris falling off the external tank.
That's all we have time for. Ricky, thanks for coming out today.
I really want to thank you guys for coming here on your own dime. Getting to come watch the Space Shuttle launch is a really special event. I love coming down. I've seen several of them. And I hope today goes very smoothly for everyone. You get a great launch. But I really want to thank you for sharing the excitement of what we do. I got to go talk to a group of folks, the center director's guests. And I always make the case there, I can guarantee you there's no other federal agency that has 700,000 people sitting outside the gates on a Friday afternoon. Because people want to see what we're doing. What we do here at NASA, I think, is really special. What our country is doing and what the world is doing together. And I really, really want to thank you for sharing the excitement with folks. And I look forward to reading what you guys have to say. So thanks for coming. Enjoy the day.